Ntcha Live with your boy Big Buck from the 985 to the 601, coming to teach you what we know. It's another edition of Buck Bites, and today we get bit with my man from across the land, Vence Ntcha. Yes, indeed. What's going on, Vence the Prince?
Hello, Buck. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing great.
This is a pleasure to be on your podcast tonight, talk about Father's Day. I hope your listeners are ready for what we have to say today.
Oh, I hope they are, because if I'm talking, they know I'm talking right. And look, if y'all ain't ever met Vence is a man. He got the plan. He gonna tell y'all the T-R-U-T-A, the truth. Sometimes some people up in Louisiana say we say the truth like the Cajun and the Bayou way. So we gonna tell you the truth today on Father's Day. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What does your father do for a living?
My father is a gynecologist.
Okay.
So he is about a woman and child, and pretty much
right. He's making sure that women are safe throughout their pregnancy.
Yeah, exactly. So he deals a lot with pregnancy and post-pregnancy, pre-pregnancy, childbirth. And
so tell me, Vence, your dad's a gynecologist. Well, how long has he been a gynecologist?
My dad been a gynecologist for over 35 years.
Oh man, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's well, hey, somebody got to do it, and ain't nothing wrong with it. But hey, there's nothing to it but to do it. And because being a gynecologist, I say, that's just, a lot of people might say that's a woman's field, or it's really not a man's field, because it has something to do with childbirth, post and pre-childbirth, as well as during. Anyone can be a gynecologist if they really take the time and effort to study and practice in that field, because and to be in that field for 30 years, your dad has probably made a lot of connections. It's been some good times and bad times, because each and every day that we go through life, there's going to be some ups and downs, and I'm sure that your dad has did the most 110,000% to make sure that every child is born as well as healthy and stuff. But sometimes in life that doesn't always happen because of just stress levels on the mother and just things around their surroundings. But for your dad to be in that profession, that's amazing, man, because like I said, it's a hard job. In any job in the medical field itself is just hard.
No, yeah, I agree with that. You have to deal with people, you have to deal with their emotion, and on top of that, they probably have something that you only know how to fix. If it's physically, mentally, emotionally, you're the one responsible for their health and their well-being. So I think it's everyone who chooses to go to med school and decides to be somewhere related to medicine is a star, is a hero.
100%. When people say, do you have a favorite superhero? The doc, they may as well be the superheroes. They are the ones risking their lives on the line each and every day. There's us, the patients, coming to the doctors for help in, hey doc, my knees hurt. In your father's case, hey doc, I've been getting kicks and I've been getting cramps up in my stomach. Could you make sure that the baby's okay? There's so many things that we go to doctors for, aches and pains, as well as we go just for therapy sometimes. That's a great thing, because sometimes people don't really put forth effort into their job, but for those people, they probably really don't be in that profession for long. And for your dad to be in this field for 30 plus years, he really cares about it. He's really put his heart on the line for it, and it may get hard for him, because growing up, having your dad as a doctor, as well as with your sisters and mother and brother, I'm sure that was real hard for y'all, because y'all might didn't get to see him all the time, because he was working late hours and late mornings at the hospital,
Yeah, he was. But, that's what life is, That's part of what he had to do. That's part of what he wanted to do. So not that he wanted to leave us or something, but he wanted to save those people and make sure those people are okay. So not seeing us was the sacrifice that all of us have to do on a daily basis.
Right. And even though he didn't want to be away from his family, he didn't want to be away from his children, but that's something that he had to do, because he had to sacrifice to not only put food on the table, but there was somebody that was needed. Somebody that was in need, and your dad was the person to help that person in need. And so shout out to Dad for that.
Shout out to him for real.
Yes, indeed. What's your dad's name, by the way?
Oh, his name is Vence Ntcha. Jean, so J as a Jean. It's like Jean, but Jean, because it's French. The English version is John. pretty much. So we can call him John Ntcha.
John Ntcha. Yes, indeed.
Exactly.
All right. Heck yeah. All right. Well, shout out John Ntcha for out there. An outstanding job for 30 years. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So, Vence, tell me this. What would your definition of a father be in your own words, if you have it?
Well, a father, in my opinion, is somebody who is here to show you the ups and downs in life, who is here to teach you the basic knowledge of what you need to succeed or what you need to have a beautiful life, the skills you need, the different activities you should get involved to expand your knowledge on life and pretty much your career. For me, a father is who is an individual who is ready to sacrifice his body, save you, who is ready to go through a lot of things and not show it to anybody at dinner, who is here to always smile at you and show you that no matter what you go through, you can always keep your family together. You can always succeed and you can always, not a happy life, but you can have the life that you desire to have. For me, a father is somebody who shows you what love really is through action and not words. For me, a father is a hero. Whoever father there is, he is a hero. He is someone all of us look up to till the end.
100%. I think you said it all, man. That is what a father is, man. A father, he's going to face trials and tribulations as well as so many obstacles in his life, but he just got to continue to persevere. And like you said, when a dad comes, your dad might have been working, say, 12, 15, if not 20 plus hours a whole day.
Yeah.
And, he came home to dinner, might have been coming home to morning breakfast, and y'all was all up in Dad's face, and he was dog tired. But you know what? He put a smile on y'all. He put a smile on his face just for y'all because he said, this is what I'm doing this for. I'm working hard for my children, for my wife. I'm working hard for my family so they don't have to go without, so that they can get the things that they need, and so that they won't have to grow up like I did without,
Yeah,
So,
100%.
So yes, your dad's a hero, and he's doing it, man. And I'm glad to see that we've known each other for a good, what is it, maybe 2, maybe going on 3 years now. And man, for me, I haven't met the whole family yet, but I've talked to some of them. But just for that, man, and for me knowing you, man, I know you come from a good people, good hard working family, people that love you. You might didn't grow up with the best of things, but you grew up with some sincerity as well as generosity for people. And no matter what life throws at you, you just have to always remember to keep on pushing, because there's definitely times where it gets hard for a father, even though not just talking about your dad, just anybody, as well as for people that grew up without fathers. Sometimes it gets really hard on them because they don't know how to be a father because they didn't have a father themselves growing up. So sometimes it's hard for them to raise a family. They may not do all the things that they are supposed to do, and whenever it comes time for that child to have a family of its own, sometimes it's hard for them because they didn't have a father figure. But just know, even though, Vence, you're not a father, you are a father figure to someone, because I'm sure there's not only people back home in Benin that look up to you, how many motivational things that you have told them, but I'm sure that you have inspired some people to work hard and hone in a craft to be better than what they once were. So that's what I was telling a lot of people this whole week. Like, no matter if you do have children or not, just always remember there's someone looking up to you. People call me Uncle Buck, and I know they'd be like, okay, I want to be like, not saying they want to be like me, but they want to have some of the characteristics that I have of hard work and determination. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, Buck.
Because, we may not see each other a lot. You used to be living over here in Hattiesburg, but you've moved all the way to Alabama, and now you're in Massachusetts for the whole summer. But man, we stay in contact, and sometimes we have ups and downs, but hey, that's life. But we continue to have each other, as well as you have tons of other friends that you can always call. But whenever you have somebody like that, that's always a blessing. That's always great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm glad that we met each other so we can have these types of conversations, and that we can always build each other up whenever we are down. Because like I said, there's a lot of people in this world that grew up without fathers. Like me, for instance, I didn't really really know my father growing up. I didn't know him too much. I really couldn't. For the longest time, I really didn't even know his last name because it was bad, man, because I didn't know if his last name was Baggett or Davis. Well, my grandma's name her last name is Davis, but his father's last name was Baggett. But me, I'm a Buckley. I ain't got none of that up in me. I just got his genes up in me. That's all it. But I'm a Buckley. You heard? I'm a Buckley.
You a Buckley.
But no, I didn't know him too much growing up. I didn't know too much about him, or really not too much of what he did. It did hurt for sure, man. I did, because growing up without a dad, not having him at a birthday party, what you see on television, a lot of people always think that that's what life is supposed to be like. And one thing, watching a lot of TV growing up, you would see some TV shows or movies where you would see families at birthday parties or dinners and stuff like that. And it felt like, you got a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister. And, that's what sometimes TV tells you that's what family is supposed to be. But that's not always true, because sometimes there's not always that father figure in that picture. Sometimes they, like the old saying goes, dad went out for a gallon of milk and he ain't came back, or he went for a pack of cigarettes and ain't came back. He just went off on us, and he say he ain't coming back. It gets hard sometimes, and it definitely was for me growing up, because I wish that he would have been a part of my life. Wish he would have came to more birthday parties as well as sporting events and stuff. But I tell people all the time that it does get bad. It was bad for a long time. It's sad to say that he's gone now. I wish that we could have had a better connection before he passed, but that ain't the way the cookie crumbled. I always tell people it was kind of his loss. It wasn't my loss, because I didn't lose anything. I gained from it. I gained from him not being there, because if the Lord ever blesses me to have children, as well as the children that I inspire each and every day that I meet them, or as well as back home in Kentwood and so on, I will always do the best of my ability to give from where I wasn't given, so that I can always help someone else out in need when they need it, and be there for them.
You said it all.
I was telling my friend Curtis, then, Christmas, I always every year I always get stuff for their birthdays and everything. I try to always try to get gifts, as well as, making them silly movies that I make. them crazy birthday videos. But no, I always try to give somebody something special each and every year for their birthdays as well as Christmas. This past time I was giving out tons of gifts for all my friends back in Kentwood, all their kids. And so I was like, man, I tell you, a lot of people probably don't do this. One of my friends, he was just like, Buck, you didn't have to buy that for the kids, I said, well, man, I know I didn't have to. It's just because I wanted to. I tell a lot of people, I grew up without a dad. I kind of grew up without a few uncles as well. I mean, one of my uncles, he was always trying to take me fishing, and I wish I kind of really would have went, but I really don't like fishing. But I wish I would have kind of went out there just to gain more knowledge and insight from him. But whenever I did see him, I did spend that time with him. But my mom's brothers, I never really got a connection with them either, because they were just doing their own thing. Sadly, one was he was in and out of prison, but that's not his fault. He got a medical condition, so he's trying to work on that, And I mean, at the time, he didn't have anybody, because I'm sure his brother probably wasn't being a good brother to him, as well as his father probably just wasn't there for him when he needed him. And sometimes that kind of hurts. And so sometimes you find different avenues in life. If you don't have that father figure, if you don't have that father figure in your own family that you can look up to, sometimes you find another route, another person. And I tell you, I'm sure you got other father figures besides your dad, but I tell you, one good father figure that I'll always miss and cherish is old Peyton. That damn Peyton was a trip. Peyton was he was a trip. He years before me and you ever met, there was tons of times like now in this hot summer, we would probably wake up at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning after been partying till 2 or 3, waking up that early the next day just to get ready to get started on some type of project Peyton wanted to work on. And trust me, I didn't have any types of projects like that going on when I was a kid growing up. I was just playing video games all day. And there's nothing wrong with that, being a kid
Yeah.
playing video games. But,
that's regular.
Right, that's regular. That's regular childhood life. But by the time I got to middle school and I met Mr. Peyton Travis, that was a whole new world experience, coming out after football practice, or like I said, waking up the next day after it been a night of hanging out and having a good time. Sure enough, we would be working on fixing the shower upstairs, building his whole bar, cutting plywood, going to cut grass. We was always doing something.
I can see that happen. Yeah,
man, there were so many times of us just doing work projects around that house, as well as a good friend of mine. I'll have to let you meet him next time you come to Kentwood. His name is John McKelvin. If it wasn't for his nephews probably bothering the hell out of me, I probably would have never played football, man. I know Coach John, that's what we call him. I call him Coach John, Uncle John, whatever. I remember one time, and it must have been about a few years back, he was just like, man, he said, all y'all boys, y'all growing up. And he was like, it's just crazy to me. I said, what you mean? He's like, well, I was coaching y'all, trying to shape y'all into fine young men, and y'all are now. And I said, well, man, you did a good job. And he said, well, the crazy thing was I really didn't even know what I was, because
wow.
He was like, I didn't know he said, I knew the games of football, but I had never coached anybody in football before. But hey, we did a good job. I said, y'all did a hell of a job. I mean, you knew the rules and the regulations of football, and you told us, you taught some 6 through 12-year-olds for the most part, probably a little bit older than that, I said, shoot. I said, y'all did a hell of a job, A lot of y'all wanted y'all's kids to be in a kind of community organization for people that just wanted to do more things during the summer than just sit inside all day, and y'all got the kids involved, and that's 100% good.
That's a good one. That's a good man.
Oh yeah, he is, man. He's good. He's a trip. He's a good old dude. Well, Vence, I appreciate you telling me about Mr. Vence Ntcha, the man with the plan, the gynecologist that's been working hard for not only himself, but for his family, to raise 3 mighty strong children, for them to seek life of their own, raising a beautiful wife, and so much more. He done sacrificed, and he done taught y'all how to be great, fine people. And it's a pleasure to have met y'all, 2 of the 3 of his children. Man, I can't wait to meet Mr. John Ntcha. I can't wait to meet him. Man, I really can't wait to go to your home country, Benin. That's the main thing, my friend. But we going to get there one day. We going to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. We're going to get there, Big Buck. Thank you for letting me on your podcast, and thank you, listeners.
Yes,
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate all y'all that's been listening to the Buck Bites podcast. It's been real, it's been fun, but the fun has just begun. We coming live from the 985 to the 601, son. It's Happy Father's Day. I hope y'all out there grilling, chilling. Go ahead now.